I grew up in a small town in Sweden called Lilleby. Life was simple. I knew most people, and most people knew me. When I was a kid, making friends was as simple as, what's your favorite color? Oh, it's pink, mine too. And you became inseparable. Everybody was friends with everyone. Nobody cared what you had or didn't have. Nobody cared about the way you looked. Now, fast forward, and I'm about 11 years old. My parents tell me we're moving countries to a city I've never heard about, Shanghai, a city with some of the tallest skyscrapers in the world. New culture, new food, but most importantly, a new life. So I pack up my house, leave my cat and my sister behind. Everything I've ever known, I leave behind and jump on a flight to Shanghai. Now, the first couple of days in school were intriguing. I was very excited to meet everybody. I was so intrigued by everyone. Now, after a couple of days, reality started to hit me. Everybody had their own routines I wasn't a part of. Everybody there knew each other and had bonds for years, bonds that I wasn't a part of. Life started to feel like a puzzle when that was already completed. And when a puzzle is completed, it doesn't need any more pieces. But then there I was, the leftover piece. Now, when I first came to Shanghai, I looked very different from what I do now. I had short, bright red hair, wore eyeliner every single day, and religiously only wore black clothes. Now, here in China, in my school, you weren't allowed to wear makeup, you had to have your natural hair color, and you had to have school uniform, something I thought only existed in movies. Because I went from a public school in Sweden, where we only spoke Swedish, so I wasn't even fluent in English when I first came, and I had a weird accent. I didn't know the terminology for most subjects, and I was extremely behind in math. There were even some subjects I didn't know existed, like PHSE, drama, and STEAM. Now, of course I did have friends, but every day I would ask myself, is it the clothes I'm wearing? Did I say something wrong? Are they talking behind my back? Am I doing enough to belong? Now, back to Sweden again. In Sweden, everybody wants to be extremely tan and blonde. Well, I'm neither. But then in China, people want to be on the paler side and have black hair. Now I kind of start to fit in, right? But there was always something in the back of my head telling me I needed to change. I started to listen more and more about what society wanted me to be. What everybody around was, I just tried to fit in, being so-called mainstream. But reality was, the more I kept trying to change myself, the more I kept trying to fit into this puzzle, the more I just kept losing myself. Now back to Sweden again. Schools in Sweden are quite easy. Like, if you fail an exam, teachers don't really care. If you don't do your homework, nobody really budges an eye. But then in a private school, like the one I'm attending in Shanghai, if you fail an exam, you have to catch up immediately. You can't be left behind. If you don't do your homework, the teachers will send an email home to your parents. It's quite different. I wasn't used to the system, and I felt different again. So what am I trying to get across with my speech? It's not that you should feel bad for me. I'm telling you to live your own life. Stop trying to please everyone. Why would you waste your life trying to fit into other standards? Now, currently in Shanghai, in my school, drama is my favorite subject. It's a subject that has helped me in so many aspects of my life. It helped me gain confidence, both in classrooms, but also just in everyday life. My amazing drama teacher, Ms. Roberts, saw me for me and helped me sign up for my first musical, something that completely changed my life. I met people who thought similarly to me, people who shared a passion for drama. I also gained confidence. I mean, a couple years ago, I didn't even have the confidence to raise my hand in a classroom to ask to go to the bathroom. But here I am today, giving a speech in front of hundreds of people. I started to ask myself, am I doing things for myself or for someone else? And if it was for someone else, ask myself why. Why would I waste my life trying to live up to other standards, but not have my own? And I also realized it's okay to be different. I mean, imagine how boring life would be if everybody was exactly the same. It's okay to change and grow. Everybody adapts. Like right now, I'm dressed and I'm speaking differently than I am in other environments, like when I'm with my friends. However, I'm not changing who I actually am. I'm just adapting to a new environment. Why would you waste your life being around people who don't really see you for you, when you can easily find like-minded people? Now, what do I mean with like-minded people? It's people who share similar values and have similar passions to you. When you're around these people, you feel more confident, you feel more safe, you feel a sense of unity and belonging. You feel secure, you know that they're not just going to leave you. Now, that doesn't mean that you should ignore what everybody else is saying. You can't just ignore other people's opinions. But being around like-minded people just makes you feel more secure. Now, let me ask you one last question. Would you rather fit in or belong?